Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. It's Tuesday once again. It's crazy how fast weeks go by. I feel like I was just here. I feel like it was just Tuesday. I don't know if y'all been watching the news, but we've had a lot of stuff going on in Arkansas over the last week. So it kind of makes time go by quick. I mean, it's been a crazy week, as I'm sure that I see Helpless already in the chat, Helpless Garage in Cabot. I'm sure he's aware, or I believe it was all over the news. I'm sure everybody saw it. And I had a few people send me emails checking on me, and I appreciate that. I really do. We had some severe weather, and it was all over the whole state. I mean, we just got hammered. Lots of rain, lots of storms, lots of flooding. It was a crazy time there, but no damage at my property. Got very lucky. I'm kind of on top of a mountain here, and I don't have to worry about flooding. I just have to worry about tornadoes, and there were lots of tornadoes in Arkansas. But anyway, everything's fine. So thank you for checking on me, guys. I appreciate it. Let me check Facebook, make sure that we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're rolling over here. I got Kurt sneaking around over here on Facebook. What's up, Kurt? Hey, Tim, was worried about you and your family. Saw the nasty weather you've been getting. What part of the state are you in? I'm in the dead center. I'm right outside of Hot Springs, so I'm just a little bit south of Little Rock. So I'm right in the dead center. So I'm considered central Arkansas. So yeah, we got hammered just as bad as as you could get. Yep, Facebook is rolling. Galactic Technologies. What's going on, Daniel? We're frozen over here today. Yeah, we got it after the weather temperature dropped here. So we're kind of cool here also. Not not real cold, but it is bright and sunshiny finally. I mean, for an entire week of dreary days, and we didn't see the sun, so we finally got the sun out here in Arkansas. Gene Hansen, 33 and cloudy. What's going on, Gene? Thank you for your email, Gene. Mike Irvin, morning, y'all, 39 and sunny in southwestern Indiana. Helpless, hey, all beautiful, finally, 56 degrees in Cabot. Yeah, it is a beautiful day outside today. Rock Dog, what's going on, Rock? I haven't seen you in a while. Sunny in Atlanta. Hi, everyone. Rob Cedar, hey, Tim, thank you and everyone at GCG. I love the hat, and Eco 2X shirt fits perfectly. Thank you. No problem, Rod. I'm glad it does. I wanted to tell everybody, if you end up getting a shirt or you end up winning a hat and a shirt or whatever, that I got one of the shirts, and it seems to run a little bit small, so you might ought to get the next size up, especially after you wash it and dry it. It's probably going to shrink a little bit because mine fits fine, but I purposely got one I got an extra large, and it's actually, after I wash it and dry it with my washing and drying habits, it's gonna be fine. Craig, what's going on, Craig? This time has gone by fast here too. Your golf cart garage is still standing. Yes, it is. It's a good thing. Greetings, all sunny. Bob Lewis, 63 in South Alabama. I'm going to visit South Alabama this year, Bob Lewis. My wife and I are going to go there. We're going to look around. I heard some things. I can't remember what it was. Some kind of RV resorts or something like that in South Alabama. I'm going to go check some things out there. I don't know when we're going to do that, but I'll let you know. Hey, Aaron, I'm glad to see you made it. We had 3 naders touch down and 118 mile per hour winds. Yep, that's what I was worried about, because I was watching the news. I've got some updated pictures for you in a few days. I should be riding within the week. Sunday is the go. Cool. I'd like to see it. Send them to me, man. Gary England, hey everyone. Joe Foster, good day, Tim. Glad you and your family are okay. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, everything is fine here. Everything is fine. There's lots of water in the lakes here. A lot of water. It's real pretty here in my area because it's mountainous terrain. I don't mean big mountains, but lots of hills and valleys. So anytime it rains a lot, we get all kinds of creeks flowing in, and they're just everywhere right now. And creeks overflowing. It's actually really, really beautiful. Kirk, oops, back on YouTube now. Something switched me to Facebook. Well, yes, I noticed you were on Facebook over there. John, what's going on? Hey, y'all. John Shear. Let me check Facebook and make sure. Yeah, it's still rolling on Facebook. Yep, that's good. I want to get more viewers over there. I'll check it in a minute. This is Tuesday the 8th. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook right now, on Tuesday the 8th at 12 noon Central Time, you're watching us live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Here are the other platforms. I'll run the other social media links that you can follow us on. Aaron says he's in Madison County, Indiana. We were deemed a disaster zone for a few days. Yeah, a lot of people were, yeah. It was a long, big area of storms. Rock Dog Rough Connection, be back in a minute, no problem. Stephen Miller, what's going on, Stephen? Good afternoon, all. One of our previous winners, Stephen Miller, fairly recent winner, along with Rob Cedar. And guess what? I just made an executive decision. We're going to have another winner today. Today is officially going to be a hat giveaway day. So you're lucky you're here. If you want a hat or a t-shirt, or a hat and a t-shirt, we're going to give away a hat today. Today is officially hat day. Rob said they're still recovering from Helene. Jeff Huss, glad to hear that you're safe. I'm hoping the weather is looking up. It's looking good, looking good. Jeff, thank you for asking. Joe Foster, yippee. Hello, Tim in the group. What's going on, Eagle River Mike? Another one of our winners, I believe. Didn't you win, Eagle River Mike? Do I got your name down here? You did, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, you did. You're yeah, you big winner. Yeah, I got you. Got to update my list. Luckily, I don't have to keep track of that. My wife keeps track of that for me. All right, we are going to get to the David Irwin. What's going on, David Irwin? David Irwin still recovering. How's your recovery going, David? Is it going good? Bruce, hello from Westfield, Wisconsin at 36 chilly degrees. Joseph Simmons, hello Tim. It's 80 in Charleston today. That's nice. That sounds nice. 80 degrees. Larry England. That's cool. All right, guys, we're going to get started with the regular questions. Keep in mind, we are going to give a hat away today. All you got to do is comment in the chat and you will be entered automatically. David Irwin says he's doing good, just a lot of pain, but I'm getting better. That's good, David. Glad to hear it. This first question, first regular scheduled question is, we'll take a lot of questions, I'm sure, but this is from Reggie. He says, hi, I raised my 2006 Club Car President 1.5 inches in the front and back. Now the rear suspension has no give. The ride is very stiff. I installed new shocks, same size as the original size. I'm wondering if because the shocks are fully extended, can that result in a stiff ride, or could it be because the spring is flat now? Thanks. Well, my question would be, how did you raise the cart 1.5 inches? I mean, you used a blocking plate, or what did you do? And are we talking about the front or the rear? Because it's two totally different ways to raise the front than it would be the rear. And on the rear, if your spring is flat, then you might have something in a bind. and that could be causing your stiffness there. But the shocks, it's not going to be your shocks. Well, I tell you what you do, disconnect your shocks, especially if they're fully extended. Disconnect them and see what that changes. Because your shocks may have your car in a bind, your suspension system in a bind some way. I don't know. I'd have to see pictures and get more information on how you actually lifted your car. Larry Hitz. What's going on, Larry Hitz? Rich East Main. I'm late. Also, hello, guys. What's going on, guys? Ricky Hall. Late but here. Ricky Hall. It's just that man talking, Ricky Hall. Thank you for joining us, Ricky. All right. Number 2 on the regular questions. This is from Daniel. I put 6 new batteries in my cart. Been sitting for 3 weeks, so I plugged it in and no green light. If they're still fully charged, will it not light up? Not all chargers do the exact same thing, especially the newer chargers that have lights on them. You got to understand, older transformer chargers, we never had lights. We never had lights on chargers until the last, 12 years, something like that, when chargers started having lights on, because they used to not have any lights on. There was an EasyGo charger that had a section of lights on it, an older one, but usually the lights are only associated with the newer solid state chargers. So they're not all going to do the same thing. You got to know your charger. You got to know what the normal pattern is. But if something is not working, then I drive the cart and then come back and try it again and see if that makes that charger come on or makes it go back to normal behavior. Other than that, you're going to have to get a voltmeter out. We're going to have to talk about battery voltages. David Irwin, I hear a lot about air ride. Is it worth the money? Well, the only air rides I have seen on golf carts was custom stuff where they took airbags out of some other type of that were designed for some other type of vehicle, and they just had to fabricate the mounts and put them on a golf cart. I don't know of an air ride system that is specifically for a golf cart. And the guys, the ones that I know about, they were only doing the air ride. They weren't doing it for the ride. They were doing it for the look and the adjustment and the stance. Like, you know, they were only doing it, the ones I've seen only did it because they liked the look of a car that slammed down to the ground, you know, a lowrider, and then they can raise it up in order to drive it. But when they park it, they can let the air out and let it, you know, it just looks cool. So I don't know if I don't hear a lot about the ride improvement. Maybe that's the answer for these lithium swaps. You know how we've talked about on here that there needs to be whole new suspension systems for golf carts that have gone through a lithium swap because of the weight being so much dramatically different. Now the car is stiff ride. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe there should be some type of air ride conversion kit for that so you can let the air out. All right. Number 3. From Chris, I have a 2001 Club Car Tempo. 2021, I'm sorry. I'd like to improve the front steering with arms or something similar. I'm assuming you mean A-arms, if possible. I don't want a lift kit. The rear has stiffened leaf springs. Everything else is stock. Do you have any recommendations? Okay, you want to improve the front steering with A-arms or something similar. Well, I don't really understand that part there, Chris, because a Club Car Tempo has A-arms. They're small, you know, they're not lifted or anything, but it has A-arms. The rear has a stiffened leaf spring. Everything else is stock. So I need to know what you mean by you want to improve the front steering, because about the only thing you can do is make sure you got all your bushings are intact. If they're not, replace them. You know, that'll tighten up any slack that you have going on there. And in the rear, if you have heavy duty leaf springs, the only thing you can do is go back to stock leaf springs to loosen that up a little bit if you've got a real stiff ride in the rear. All right, Galactic says, I took an air ride out of an E-Z-GO not long ago. It had air shocks so dangerous the cart ended up flipping the previous owner and breaking a leg. I still the air shocks. I don't know what I'll even do with them. Yeah, that's going to be, those shocks are definitely going to be designed for some vehicle that weighs much more. So I don't even see how that would work. Hey, Ron, just put 25-inch tires on my cart. I'm afraid I might need more than a 6-inch lift. That could be true. I mean, you're pushing it there on a 6-inch. I think 6-inch probably only calls for 23s. Most 6 inches will. You know, they'll say that would accept 23s. You might have to do some adjustment for 25s. So you're putting 25s on that DS of yours with the lithium and everything. I definitely want to see that when you get it done. And also, I want to hear about how your lithium holds up. You may, is that why you was asking about a second lithium? Is because you may have to parallel one in there in order for, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see. Number 4. This is from Joe. I have a question. I purchased an E-Z-GO cart from my neighbor. The cart has 14-inch wheels that say SS. Additionally, the tires state not for road use. The tires look like they could use some additional air after sitting all winter. What air pressure do you suggest since there are no markings on them about air pressure? All right, you have a E-Z-GO. You're saying that you have tires that have 255 by 45 by 14-inch wheels that say SS. Okay. They say not for road use. What air pressure do you suggest since there are no markings on them? I've you know, very seldom I've come across a tire that I couldn't find a PSI rating written on the side of the tire for a max PSI. Now, maybe the fact that they say not for road use, maybe that does have something to do with it. I don't know. But a golf cart is light enough that I wouldn't worry too much about the number. Air them up to where you think they look correct, and then drive the car and see what you think, and then you can always air them down. I mean, if you're looking at them and it looks like they're, you know, need air, then they probably do. They probably do. Ricky Smith, what's going on, Ricky Smith? Jeff Huss, I have a 48-volt club car precedent that started jerking and forward and reverse. I replaced the M-core and that didn't help. Do you think the main speed controller is the culprit? Jeff Huss, 48-volt club car precedent that started jerking and forward and reverse. I replaced the M-core and that didn't help. Do you tell me about your batteries, Jeff? Because you have to understand, one battery, just one of your batteries dropping out can cause what you're describing. Just one. So tell me what your battery situation is in this cart. Facebook's still rolling. Number 5. I have a 96 G19E Yamaha electric golf cart. I put one 48-volt battery in it and took 6 8-volt batteries out. Horn and beeper works only. G19E. So I guess what you're telling me is that the golf cart doesn't run on a G19E. Well, this is what I would do first. I would hook you to, in case you disconnected the old charging receptacle, I'd hook it back up first and make sure that that's not it. I don't remember on a G19E off the top of my head if that has a third wire in that receptacle or not. But if it does, you might need to hook the charging receptacle back up to your new lithium battery, your 48-volt lithium battery, because you might be missing something with that charging receptacle disconnected. I get that. I get that phone call or that question a lot. I just put a lithium battery in my cart and the cart doesn't run. What did I do wrong? It seemed very straightforward and easy. And a lot of times it's because the cart has to get power through that charging receptacle, because there's a little third wire there that's been disconnected, or you can take that third wire and hook it directly to the positive post of the lithium battery, and then you can remove the charging receptacle. There, many times I've had that conversation with people that have just done a lithium install. Joe Foster says the solenoid is not clicking. That is true. Number 5. Yeah, Facebook is kind of lagging like it always does, but it's still working. So cool. Jerry Kelly, hey Tim. Jeff Huss says they are older batteries. Okay, they're 12-volt batteries. All right, what happens a lot of times, Jeff, is that especially on 12-volt batteries, because they don't tend to last as long as a set of 6 8-volt batteries. 12-volt batteries do not have a reputation for lasting as long in general as a set of 6 8-volt batteries. So if they're older, I understand that you say that you got greater than 12 volts each on them, but what happens a lot of times is on an older battery, if you measure the voltage, it's going to show 12 volts or maybe even greater. But as soon as you try to take off in the golf cart, that puts a little bit of load and that voltage will drop out. So yours would be a case where you wanted to do that. You would want to hook a voltmeter to each one of your batteries, each one at a time. Bring the voltmeter up in the seat with you. Use alligator clips or whatever you got to extend the leads to hook it to one of your 12-volt batteries. Bring that voltmeter up in the seat with you and drive the cart and make it jerk like what you're talking about. You said it's jerking. Watch that voltmeter. If that voltage is not jerking or dropping out, then go to the next battery and see if it's the next one, because they never all die. I say this all the time. I know, just like it's a solenoid clicking, I say this all the time. Batteries never all die at the same time. There's always going to be one that goes out before the rest. So you might want to check that, first. You might find your problem right there, because what you're describing could be a battery. Need a load test. Specific gravity and voltage can be good on bad batteries. Rob Cedar said that. Yes. That's what I'm saying. That voltage you see is literally just surface voltage. It's not all the tests that you need to do. You can't just put a voltmeter on a battery and determine that it's good if it's over 12 volts, is what I'm saying. Because as soon as the load is applied, it could be dropping out to no volts. So do that first. And then got to eliminate your batteries as being the problem first, always. Okay. Number 6. Regular scheduled questions we're on number 6. This is from Doug. Hi Tim, I would like to know your thoughts on gas versus electric. Is there a certain age not to go gas? Is there a year not to go electric? I'm sure tech has gotten better for both styles. Thanks. Very good question, Doug. Very good question. And you're correct. tech has gotten better for both styles. Uh, we talk about this. We talk about that on this channel a lot. We talk about gas and electric cars. How the let's see how the pros and cons list have changed since the availability of lithium. Okay, there was a pro and con list before lithium, and there's a pro and con list after lithium. Not a whole lot has changed with gas cars. Gas cars are awesome, by the way. Gas golf cars, they are awesome. You get a good one, and you'll love it. I mean, they work so well. They're so easy to drive, so easy to maintain. Electric cars are awesome too, but in the lead acid eras, decades, past decades of lead acid, there were things you had to worry about with electric cars. You had to constantly be thinking about your battery situation. When's the last time I charged my car? When's the last time I put water in my batteries? Constantly worried about the batteries. You have to be if you want to stay on top of it, because batteries are expensive. Even lead acid is expensive. So people that have to spend that much on a battery job, they want to take care of them right, so they got to constantly think about it. Gas car, not so much. So the pro and con list was different back then. Now, with lithium, electric cars, you don't got to worry about a lot of stuff. You don't have to worry about your batteries. You can't add water. You're not going to have any corrosion. They're all coming with, dedicated energy meters. If you get a kit, when you do a lithium version, they'll have some lithium kit conversions will have a complete kit, which includes an energy gauge specific for that exact lithium battery, which may be a little more accurate than some of the older type. So it's up to you nowadays. Like the sentiment I would get from my customers in the past, before lithium, if they could go gas, in other words, if their application didn't have restrictions, because there's lots of places that have restrictions and don't allow gas, but if they could go gas, my customers would. They would prefer to go gas. Then they didn't have to worry about their battery situation at all. Now that was, old school way of thinking. In this new school, you got it either way now. You can go either way. You can get gas if you prefer, or you can get lithium if you prefer, newer lithium, or you can take an older cart and switch it to lithium, and makes it, have even less worry. And we're seeing a lot of good success about people's lithium conversions. We talk about that all the time in this chat room, that we've got several people that have gone lithium in this chat room and do not regret it, one bit, even though it's, kind of pricey. Well, so is lead acid. I mean, you got to remember, lead acid has gone up too. So you got to look at it. It's different now, and electric is definitely catching up to the ease of ownership, that gas has always had an advantage of, to me, because all you had to do was basically change the oil once a year, and then the rest of the year put gas in it, and you probably won't hardly ever have to do that. They get so good at gas mileage. My gas cart. David Irwin says he loves his gas cart, not much maintenance. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, gas is great, but where I use mine, we can't have the noise and exhaust. See, that's what I'm talking about, restrictions. Some people have restrictions and they're not able to. If you're looking for speed, it's much easier to upgrade electric. Gas engines can only do so much before you end up rebuilding it. That's correct. Or before you end up having to do a swap, a big bore swap or something, Drive on the roads a lot, so speed only helps to clog up 2-lane roads. Kevin Salyer, what's up, Kevin? Thank you for joining us. 38 and sunny in Indiana. I'm glad you guys fared the weather also. Had the same weather system going on that I had here. When I first was looking for a car, I always assumed I'd be getting a gas car, but now I have 2 Club Car Electrics and have no desire for gas. Well, like I said, electric is it's different now. It is definitely different now. Well, it's just like cordless tools. Cordless tools are a lot different now. I mean, it's the same, it literally is the same principle. You know how the cordless tool market has just, over the last 10 years, is just expanded exponentially. Well, it's because of lithium batteries. The fact that they all of a sudden had a more powerful battery, so they could make more tools that did more stuff, that had more specific applications that they could never do before with the older style nickel cadmium batteries, or cadmium, however how you say it. With the older style battery, they just didn't have enough power to do some of the things that the newer tools have. So it's the same way with golf carts. You know, lithium has just changed everything. Rob Cedar, my dad just bought a brand new lead acid cart and sold his Precedent, and his gas Yamaha is for sale. Aaron says he bought his Club Car DS to update and flip for gas, but I'm staying with electric. There you go. You guys are in the same. Galactics in Detroit, he said, yeah, it's down to preference and location in my area. Electric is best for me on quietness, but it's what you like and can get away with. Yeah, they're both really good now, I can tell you. I mean, I don't know, if you've never owned a gas cart, it'd be hard for you to, actually know what I'm talking about. But a gas carts are, if you get a good one, they are really cool. They are really, you just get on it, touch the pedal, and go. You don't have to worry about anything, and they just keep on going. Oh, Rob Cedar says he got a Raka 2025 lead acid cart. It's only 7K. Well, I hope they have, a good dealer, that has good service after the sale. I worry about people that get some of those off brands. That's the only thing that I would be concerned with. Like I said, only questions I would have before I bought some type of off brand like that, as I would have questions about what do I do when this thing breaks? Because I mean, all golf carts break eventually. Something breaks. Keith, what's going on? Keith from Nashville checking in, formerly from Palmetto, Florida. Hope all is good. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, everything is good, man. Ricky Hall, I love the silent ride of electric. Well, I do too. I mean, everybody loves the fact that electrics are silent, but you get a good gas golf cart, they're really not that loud. They're not as loud as a four-wheeler. They're not as loud as a side-by-side, especially a Polaris. I don't know why Polarises are so loud. So Raka 4-seater, 48 volt, 5,000 watt electric utility cart. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, anyway, question number 6 that was from Doug. That's about the gas versus electric. There's lots of factors nowadays. That's all there is to it. It's a complicated question, but they're both very good. That's all I can say. They're both awesome. I've always liked personal vehicles, and golf carts is a really small personal vehicle, like personal watercraft. I've always liked jet skis and motorcycles, and golf carts is no different to me. I like any type of personal vehicle. I'd love to have one of those one wheels. The skateboard thing with one wheel. I'd love to have one of those. Now that's a personal vehicle for sure. Craig says, may sound silly, but I don't know. Do gas carts have a fuel gauge? If so, what type of indicating system? Yeah, they usually have a float. The old style, even back to the 70s and 80s. I mean, one of my gas carts in an 80, it has a float inside the tank. That's all it is. It's a simple float device that floats up with the gas, and it sends a signal to, it either has an analog gauge, like Yamahas have an analog gauge. Well, it's not really, I don't even think it would be considered analog because there's no electrics involved. It's basically as the float rises up, the needle goes more toward full. So it's very, very simple, kind of gas gauge. But in a more modern one, they do have a float in the tank, but it does send an electrical signal to a meter on the dash, telling you how much gas is in the tank. So yeah. Hey, Aaron, my brother has an older gas cart, Yamaha, and my wife hates it when he is around because he's a little loud. Larry Consley, what's going on, Larry Consley? Number 7. We could talk about the gas versus electric all day, I believe. We could talk about that subject for a whole episode. I have a 2020 fuel injection Adventure 2 plus 2 that is great. Now, that's going to be a Yamaha, I believe. Hypothetically, if I were in the market for a second Yamaha Adventure 2 plus 2, could be made faster for an extra couple $1,000, an electric car, a gas car, or an electric with lithium batteries. What setup would you get? Appreciate your input, Tim. Okay, that's a gas cart, hypothetically. Second, which could be made faster for an extra couple of... There's no doubt about the answer to that question, Nathan. I think Aaron said it in an earlier post there. If you want a cart to be able to go fast, then electric is the way to go, especially now. But that was even true before lithium, that if you wanted straight up speed in your golf cart, a gas cart would have to change the motor. They'd have to do a big bore swap, maybe a V-twin Predator from Harbor Freight. There'd be all kinds of modifications that had to be done, and an electric cart would still outrun it. That's even before lithium. So if you're talking about, which one would be easier to make faster, electric. There's no doubt about it. Electric would be easier to go fast. Uh, was that number 7? Because I wrote down some notes here. I probably have mentioned Plowman's before in Michigan, but if you've got a gas Yamaha and you need some advice on what to do to speed it up or get more torque or whatever you're doing, you should probably talk to him. They've been specializing in that for Yamahas only for many years. So you could check that out. Plowman's Carts in Michigan. Aaron says he's seen 440 snowmobile engines on golf carts too, but then again, the noise it makes. Yeah, they're loud. Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen snowmobile swaps. I've seen crotch rocket motorcycle swaps, and that's pretty loud. Snowmobiles, it seems to me, all the snowmobile swaps I've seen, the dang motor has to rev up so high before the clutch engages. Like it gets loud even before the cart starts rolling. Like the stall or whatever it's called is set really, really high, on snowmobiles. D-Max says electric for the win. I like all cars, gas and electric. I do too, D-Max. I think they're both are very cool. Very cool. Oh, where am I at? Number 8. Number 8 is from Walter M. I recently acquired a 2006 Precedent IQ. I have decided to swap out the flooded lead acid batteries with a lithium pack. I did this with an E-Z-GO 2 years ago with great results. The catch here is this time I want to boost the volts. All right. I know right off I'll need a new controller. My question is what else? If I keep it just south of 60 volts, 58 volts, will the motor and other electronics work? I know nothing of club cars. I've been doing the same reading about the unique nature of club cars, and I'm hoping to get some feedback from those with experience with Precedent IQ club cars. Okay, well, the answer is yes. You'll definitely have to change your controller if you're going to up the voltage, if you plan on upping the voltage, because your controller is voltage specific on that. Precedent IQ stock controller is only designed to handle, you know, a fully charged 48-volt pack is going to be about 52 volts, something like that. So, but they're definitely not designed to handle anything more than that. And so if you're going to push it up to 60, you're going to have to get a controller that will handle that new range of voltage. Now, also, if you want it to be a plug-and-play deal, you're going to have to change your solenoid, because if you want it to be plug-and-play, wire it in just like you're wired now, then you're going to have to change your solenoid to whatever your new voltage is. Your solenoid is going to have to have an activating coil of 60 volts or 58 volts, you know, somewhere in that range or really close to that range. Otherwise, you're going to burn your solenoid out. But the motor, you should be fine for that much to test on, and just monitor for heat. You may eventually have to change the motor, but I'd do it with the motor first. Just check it and see what happens there. Club cars don't really have a unique nature. You said something in there. I have been doing some research and reading about the unique nature of club cars. The only thing club cars have, or that particular car has, that might be a little bit unique is the fact that it does have an onboard computer in it that most people remove. And if you're starting to do this 60-volt swap, then you're going to need to look into that first. You're going to want to remove that onboard computer and get that out of the situation before you start doing 60 volts, because that's really going to confuse things. You'll save yourself some trouble, and on this project, do the removal of the onboard computer first. That's what I would do. Get that out of the way. Make sure the car still runs. You might have to get you your charger's not going to work anymore once you remove that onboard computer. So you're going to have access to a non-OBC controlled charger in order to make sure your car runs. Or if you want to just do one test drive and make sure that it runs, then go from there. That would be fine. Now, I always like to see people when you're thinking about doing a major renovation like what you're doing, I consider that major. Do things one at a time and make sure the car still runs. Like step one, remove the onboard computer. Make sure your car still runs. Get that out of the way. And then it will be a real easy install once you get your battery and your new solenoid. And then obviously your new battery is going to come with its own charger, I assume. Anybody in here, by the way, speaking of that, is anybody in the room running 72 volts on a stock IQ system motor? In other words, a DS IQ or a club car precedent? Is anybody running 72 volt system on that stock motor? Just checking on Facebook. It looks good. Number 9. Number 9 is from Benjamin. I have charging problems and have been scouring the web for help. Plug charger in, charger buzzes for a couple of seconds, and circuit breaker pops. I tried the OBC reset, but nothing happened. No buzzer sound. I tried the charger relay bypass with no success. Same results as before. Charger buzz for a couple of seconds and circuit breaker pop. So need to try the OBC bypass and found the instructions on how to do that, but I cannot find the OBC. Any ideas? I need to know where it is in case we have to replace it. Okay. Well, first, Benjamin, are we talking about a club car? Are we talking about a 48 volt club car with an OBC? That would be my first question. If we are, then go to your last battery in your string, whether you got a string of 4 or you got a string of 6 batteries. Go to the last battery, the negative cable, and follow the negative cable that leaves that last battery. And that negative cable goes right through the middle of the OBC. and its location is going to depend on which car you have. Now, if you don't have a club car, then you don't have an OBC. So that's why I want to get that straight first. Easy Mike to you. I'm late again, but finally here. Thank you for joining us, Easy Mike. By the way, we're giving a hat away today, Easy Mike, to you. Are you a previous winner? Let me look at my list. I don't think you are. I think I announced it earlier that even previous winners in 2024 are back in. So you can win twice if you won in 2024. Yeah, Redfield Plug. Yeah, you can ask a question here if you would like. Red Pill Plug. Paul Fortune. What's going on, Paul Fortune? And by the way, this question from Benjamin about the circuit breaker popping. He says a charger comes on for a couple of seconds and circuit breaker pops. Well, I wouldn't automatically have went to OBC. I would not have automatically went to the relay if we're talking about a club car. That's why I need to know. If we really are talking about a club car, I would have went to the diode/rectifier. That charger has a diode, what's called a diode/rectifier in it on the back wall. If it falls within a large year of club car, and when that diode/rectifier goes bad, that's exactly what happens when you plug the charger in. All right, so that's why I wanted to get it straight, because it sounds like a very specific symptom for a large years, a bunch of years of club cars, but I need to know exactly, if you know, for sure. Rich Eastman, just so there's no confusion, I'm not a previous winner either. Well, actually, see, I don't even have to know that because my wife helps me, and so I don't really have to keep up with it. I mean, I do have a list, but she's behind the scenes checking things and making sure all the T's are crossed and dotted and I's and all that stuff. So don't worry about what I say. All right. Jeff Huss. I'm going to get the batteries load tested as soon as I get back to Oak Island, North Carolina. If any of them test bad, do you recommend switching to lithium? How fire safe are lithium batteries? I have heard about, Jeff, I've heard about fires both ways. And you got to understand, lithium hasn't been out as long as lead acid. You know, we have lots of data. You know, we call it, we talk about this all the time. We have lots of long-term data on lead acid. Have lead acid carts started fire? Yes, sir, they have. Has lithium stuff started fires? Yes, they have. So it's just a matter of, you just got to be aware of that and be smart about it. Like in lead acid, I always talk to customers about proper ventilation. I don't like to see people charge their lead acid cars in a closed garage with the seat down. I don't like, because you know, when you walk out there the next day sometimes, especially when your batteries start getting older, you can smell it. Well, that smell you're smelling is that's a toxic gas. So I don't like them to do that. I like more ventilation. I like either a fan running, lift the seat, you know, when you're charging it, but you don't have to worry about any of that with lithium. So, that's my wife, Rich Eastman, Freeman Strategy Group. Jeff, I have not burned my house down yet. Yeah, if you're, they all I can say, Jeff, about that really is that I say they're safe. I mean, I would trust it. I've got a lithium in here, and it would really upset me if everything in here burned up, and I've got a lithium battery in here. A. Ron says, what's great about some lithium batteries is a lot of them are Bluetooth, and you can tell the battery not to allow voltage out so you can shut the battery down to do any kind of maintenance. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, they're getting safer all the time, and that to me that is a safety feature that you can pull it up on your phone and say, okay, I want you out of the equation right now, boom, and shut it down. That's cool. LiPo4 batteries aren't as prone to thermal runaway as other lithium chemistries. There you go. Okay. Aaron says he owns a vape shop, so he knows lithium well. Red Peel Plug says, thanks. I have an E-Z-GO cart, not sure of year, but older, lifted and big tires. Previous video you said they don't like bigger tires and lift kits. What should be upgraded? Controller from stock. Yes, Red Peel. I probably did say that. Especially if it's an E-Z-GO PDS, if it's a PDS electrical system with the forward and reverse switch on the dash beside the key. If that's what it is, if that's the kind of E-Z-GO, then I probably did say that they do not like big tires, because they don't. That controller is what the deal is that doesn't like the big tires. That controller will heat up, and then it will eventually go into what's called thermal shutdown that we've talked about here, and the golf cart will just stop. It'll just completely stop. Now, it's not broken. It's designed to do that. It's a safety thing. Okay, forward and reverse is on the seat. Okay, so that means it's not a PDS. Well, let me ask you this, because it could be a DCS. Does it have a run tow switch under the seat? Does your E-Z-GO have a run tow switch under the seat? That's what I should have asked at first, because it could be a DCS and still be forward and reverse, could still be behind your right knee. Either way, Red Peel Plug, the answer is going to be sort of the same, no matter what, if it has a run tow switch. No, not forward and reverse, Red Peel Plug. Does it have a run tow switch? It's going to be a lever, a little switch on the controller cover under the seat. Little switch. I'm not talking about your forward and reverse switch. This is a very small toggle switch under the seat. It would be obvious if it had that. If you'd raise the seat and you can say, oh, that's what he's talking about. Okay, so it does. All right. If it has a toggle switch under the seat and the forward and reverse lever is behind your right knee when you're sitting in the cart, then that means you have an E-Z-GO DCS. Not PDS and not series. You have an E-Z-GO DCS, which they only made for a couple of years. And that's probably the worst controller in order to try to put tall tires on. All right. So what you would need to replace in that case, the main thing that you would need to replace, if you want to put tall tires and lift, don't worry, you can still lift a DCS. It's just you're going to need to replace the stock controller right off the bat and go with a new solenoid, get a heavy duty solenoid. You're going to have to go with the bigger controller as you can for a DCS. You got to remember that anytime you buy, now 300 amp is going to be about stock. That's going to be about the same thing, but it's not necessarily the amps that you're trying to increase. It's just you need to get that stock controller out of there, because that's crap compared to even an Ultrax 300 amp would be better than what you got in there. Like there's two main companies, for when you replace controllers, the Ultrax and the Vitas. Even an Ultrax 300 amp would be a better controller than what you got in there. But I would go bigger. Like I'd go to 500 amp. That is a PDS, which is very close to a DCS. That's what's in that car. It's a 500 amp controller. And fix that and the solenoid, do heavy duty solenoid. And both of those companies, Ultrax and Navitas, if you'll go to each of their websites, ultraxinc.com, is it Inc? It's alltracksinc.com or is it alltracksinc.net? I can't remember, but it's Alltracks Inc. INC. Alltracks, ALLTRAX INC. Pick out what controller you want, and then come to Golf Cart Garage and you can order it from us. But I don't know about the inexpensive stuff on Amazon. You're taking a chance there. You know, you're taking a big chance. You wouldn't be taking near as much of a chance with Alltracks or Navitas. But they're going to be more expensive than a lot of that very inexpensive crap on Amazon. Oh, did I say crap out loud? I'm sorry. And put $1,000, and he didn't say anything about the problems I'm having now. I took it to the local shop, put one thing. What are the problems you're having now, Red Pill Plug? Let me check Facebook. All right. There you go. That's exactly what's happening, Red Pill Plug, because you're adding weight. You're adding more weight to it, and the controller's going out. If you're running the stock controller under the seat on that car, I guarantee you your controller's going out. And it's only going to go into thermal shutdown so many times before it just completely says, okay, I'm sick of this. I'm not even coming back out of thermal shutdown. I'm out. And it's toast at that point. Because that's just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse until it just never comes back again. But it's your controller that's going out. Oh yeah, in woods and hills. It's going to cause it to happen faster. See, you can even take a stock DCS or a stock PDS in stock form without the small tires. And if you try to run it in woods and hills over and over again, you can put it into thermal shutdown like that. I've done it. I used to show people that in my shop when I had my golf cart shop running in Texas, in East Texas. I would show them that you can take a PDS cart and make it go into thermal shutdown just by riding my trail system that I had at my shop. All PDS cars and DCS cars need a controller upgrade. Even when they're not lifted, they kind of need a controller upgrade. I used to know a man who would get mad at me for saying that. That he was only in it for the money. You know, he sold golf cars, and you know, he would buy them and he'd sell them. And then when he'd have a problem, he'd call me, and I'd have to fix them. And I'd try to tell him all the time. I'd try to tell him that PDS and DCS cars do not like lift kits. So you're trying to, that's why you're having a lot of these problems. It's that you're selling cars that are lifted that shouldn't be lifted because they're not compensated for the lift. Like PDS and DCS cars, you can make it work, but you need to compensate it. You know, again, the weak points is the controller and the solenoid. And but that's the difference between somebody that's in it for the money and somebody like myself that wasn't really in it for the money. I was in it for the just what I like to do. You know, I enjoyed it. Red Pill Plug says, I'm scared to put that money into a good controller and then find out it needs a motor or conversion to 48. It's not going to be the motor as much as it is the Red Pill, is the controller. Don't worry about the motor right now. You need to do the controller first anyway, even if you end up having to do a motor. Your new controller is going to complement your new motor. If you had to do it in the correct order, the correct order would be controller and solenoid first. So that's why I say do that first. That will solve your issue right there. And then if you end up having a motor problem down the road, don't worry about it. It was going to happen anyway. All right. Number 10. Red Pill Plug. I thought so. You just confirmed it. Thanks. Keep up the great content. No problem, man. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Hang around, Red Pill Plug, because we're about to give away a hat here in a second. You might be a winner. 203 Easy Go. This is from Henry. PDS. FNR switch on the dash. Toe run switch on controller. Buzzer stopped working months ago and I really didn't mind. Now the cart won't go and I want to use the diagnostics. All right, rivets all around dash. Surely you wouldn't have to drill out the rivets to get to the key switch and F and R switch, would you? Well, you need to, what are you trying to do there, Henry? You're just trying to get your reverse buzzer working? Is that why? Okay, but on that particular cart, you're talking about a 2003 E-Z-GO PDS, forward and reverse switch on the dash. All right. Well, if you notice that the forward and reverse switch and the key are both on a metal plate, and then there's two little bitty small rivets at the bottom. Well, those aren't metal rivets. They're plastic. They're actually called push rivets. So you can take a punch or something and you push the middle straight through on both of those rivets, and then you can take the rivets out with your hands. You're going to have to retrieve those little two plastic things, you know, but what happened then is then you can take that key plate out with the forward and reverse switch and the key still installed to the plate. You can lean it back and you can get to the other side. Now, as far as all the other rivets, yeah, if you wanted to remove the front body of the cart, then yeah, you'd have to drill out all those other rivets, and then they would be ruined. But these two rivets that are up by that key and that forward and reverse, they can be reused if you retrieve the two little plastic things that you just punched out and punched through. Hey, Aaron, your stock motor will be fine. Just make sure you change the solenoid and as well to stay with your new controller. Yep, there you go. We need some more likes. Oh, thank you, Craig, for Mr. Freeman. I threatened to put the reverse buzzer back on my cart if my wife kept getting mouthy. All right. Facebook is good. We got several people entered in the contest, and I have been notified of the winner. I tried to show this last time, but my wife said it's too blurry. This is when she announces the winner. Let's see. The winner of this episode's Bag of Swag is Larry England. Larry England, are you still in the room? Let me see how long ago that was. I know I saw him. Way up at the beginning. I'm late, but I'm here. Larry England. Okay. Let me know if you're still here, Larry. Joe Williams says he agrees with Ricky on the silent ride. I'll put my email up there, Larry England. Wait a minute, is it, let me check my spelling here. My wife said it's Larry England, not Gary. It's Larry England. Yeah, Larry England is what she's telling me, not Gary England. Larry, if you come back and see this video, that's my email on the screen. Send me some contact information. Oh, Larry is your brother. Is that right? Okay. Is he still in the room? Let's see. Joe Williams says, one of these days I'll win that swag. Well, you keep showing up and you very likely will, Joe. Very likely you will. Congratulations, Larry. All right, let's see here. I'll run this while Larry's trying to get back on the air here. Larry England, okay, you are here. Well, you are this episode's winner, Larry. I've got my email address on the screen. It's 00timfreeman@gmail.com. If you would, send me an email and give me a phone contact, and I'll give you a call. Or I don't have to call you. You just need to tell me what it is you want. I'll show you the choices. All right, you all know about these. This is the regular golf cart garage hats. You can get you one of them if you would like. In any of those colors. You got light blue, green, dark blue, and tan. All right, that's the regular golf cart garage hats you can pick from. I wonder what happens if I leave that open and I go to this. Okay. There is the t-shirts. You can get a t-shirt. The t-shirts come in sizes up to 2X. That's as big as they come, is a 2X. You can get an Eco battery hat or a golf cart garage hat. You don't have to take that Eco battery hat if you want a t-shirt. You can get a golf cart garage hat and a t-shirt if you would like. You can choose that battery hat right there if you would like. Here is the number 2 choice. This is another hat we have available. This is from Eco Battery. It just says says EB Lithium. It's a cool hat. I actually have that hat. I haven't worn it yet, but I do have it. It's brand new. Dave sent me one. And here's that same battery with the front of the t-shirt where it just says Eco Battery. The t-shirts come up to 2X, and you can pick it from any of those, any of the hats that I shot. I'll send you a hat and a t-shirt. And Dave mentioned something to me. You know, Dave has got he's at the place where all these shirts and hats are at. He said there's some other little trinkets too, so he might surprise you and put something else in there. But you get to pick a shirt and a hat. So when you send me the email, unless you want me to call you, then I'll be glad to call you and talk with you. But if you want to just tell me what size t-shirt and which hat you want, that'd be fine. Okay. Joe, I'm afraid if I win, I'll stop watching, but I enjoy this too much. Myself included, this is the way I got my 2005 Easy. All great info here. What lithium battery screen do you have, Tim? What lithium battery screen do you have? Thanks, Tim. Great and very informative show. What do you mean, Aaron? What lithium battery screen? Because I don't have any lithium battery screen. You talking about for my lithium battery? I don't have anything. Okay. Here's the contact info for the Golf Cart Garage. Besides my email up there at the top, that gets, if you send it to 00timfreeman@gmail, that comes straight to me. But you can send to Golf Cart Garage. You can send to support@golfcartgarage.com, and there's the phone number. If you need that to go to me, you can put attention Tim on there. But I'm not the only one here. There's several of us here at Golf Cart Garage. A lot of people don't seem to realize, or they seem surprised about that. They think that I'm the only one that works here, but no, that is absolutely not the case. This is a team of people. We're going to print a screen bezel for you to check out. Includes turn and high beam indicators. Oh, okay. Also, go to golfcartgarage.com and look for the garage sales items. There's something that's going to be said about a garage sale. It might even have a picture of me or something on there, but it's going to say garage sale. There's some items in there that are uh, up to 45% off. So check that out. Kurt says he received an email from Golf Cart Garage that eco batteries are 25% off. Is this true? If it said that, then that's true, Kurt. I was under the impression they were 20% off, but maybe they've increased it. Maybe it's 25. I don't always get all the perfectly updated information. Uh, Ricky Smith says, "Nah, Rich, you'll be back. I won at the very beginning, and I'm still here." Yeah, I got your name, Ricky Smith, way at the top of the list. So you must have been one of the early winners. I see that. Summit 2 chargers are also back in stock at Golf Cart Garage. If anybody's in the market for a good charger. And here is the coupon. This is an active coupon. I didn't have it active last show, but this is the current active coupon. You get 5% off any parts you order if you use the coupon code TIM30. That's TIM30. This expires on May the 15th, 2025. Aaron says, "Is GSCG located in Ohio while you are in Arkansas?" That is correct. That is correct. It is located in Ohio. That's where all the main stuff is, and the inventory. And Dave is in Ohio. I am in Arkansas. What is happening with the Trojan lithium? How available are they now? Well, didn't we talk about that? I thought we said we found somebody that was either going to get some that was in the room. Somebody we talked to was either thinking about buying some Trojans or they already had an order in for the Trojan lithium, because I'm anxious to know too. I want to know about that because Trojan has been my company for many years. I'm a Trojan battery dealer, authorized Trojan battery dealer, and have been. And I don't really actively sell anymore. I work for Golf Cart Garage and help them sell. But I would like some good feedback on Trojan, because I would expect that to be a very good setup. Yes, it's kind of addicting to watch every Tuesday. I'm hooked, Bruce says. We've looked at it a bit, but still waiting for more information. Okay, you've looked at the Trojan stuff? Yeah, I haven't been keeping track of it. I don't have any reason to anymore, so that's why I'm not completely up. I know they advertise in my dealer magazine I get every month. They still doing advertising. They acting like they're available. Hmm. My TV finally go out. Oh, there it is. Larry England won, Craig. Larry England. All right, guys. That looks like it's going to be about it for this episode. I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate you showing up. I'm glad, very glad that we have this swag to give away, the hats and stuff. I think that's cool. I like doing it. I enjoy that, and gives you something to look forward to. And we will keep doing this as long as you want me to, or as long as they let me. It looks like it's going to be it. I will see everybody next Tuesday. Larry, get in touch with me and I'll give you a call. I don't have any pictures, Joe, for Let's See. I mean, I'll show my graphic, but I don't have any Let's See pictures. I have some pictures that I've got on hold, but I knew I was going to give away a hat today, and that takes up more time. So I've got some pictures that that some people did send me, and so I've got some, but I'll put them up next week if I need to. But here, just in case I had pictures, I'll show my graphic. But thanks for reminding me, though. Okay. Yep, that's going to be it, guys. I will see everybody next Tuesday. Garage is now closed.